Well, our next guest told Tea Party activists this weekend that the Democrats' scheme, quote, tramples on the Constitution. Congressman Mike Pence joins us now live on a very busy day. He is the House Republican Conference chairman. Congressman, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Oh, now, what do you make of late reports that we're getting that Congressman Bart Stupak, Democratic pro-lifer, is still in negotiations with the White House, that they've gotten closer, there's no done deal, but he said, I've got eight no votes with me still negotiating with the White House. They could make all the difference.
Well, they can make all the difference. There's just simply no question now that the legislation that they're trying to ram through the Congress today with very little debate, virtually no amendments, provides public funding for abortion. I commend my friend Bart Stupak for taking a strong and principled stand on this issue. We urge him on. I just came from a worship service at the U.S. Capitol building, and I know there are millions of Americans that are praying today and specifically remembering those Democrats that are standing in the gap, taking a stand for life. But again, there's no question now, as these negotiations are going on at the White House, there's no question now, as the Catholic Church has attested, as National Right to Life has attested, the bill they're attempting to ram through today, a government takeover of health care, includes public funding for elective abortion for the first time ever since Roe versus Wade.
Congressman, I want to ask you about public sentiment. Our Fox News Opinion Dynamic polls continue to show growing opposition against health care reform in its current state, what's going to be voted on there in the House. The numbers continue to grow, and yet Democrats seem to be out of touch with those polling numbers. Why do you think there's a disconnect there? Well,
you'd have to ask them why there's a disconnect, but I think your polling certainly squares with what I saw back in Indiana last weekend, with what my sense is as I've traveled around the country. And that is that the American people oppose a government takeover of health care. They know that when you mandate that every American purchase health insurance, whether they want it or need it or not, when you mandate $569 billion in tax increases to pay for it, when you mandate that businesses provide coverage or pay a fee to the feds, and then you essentially set in motion a system where tens of millions of Americans are going to see their current health insurance canceled and be sent into this government-run program, that's a government takeover of health care. And the American people know we can do better. They know we can answer the challenges in health care with more freedom and not more government. But you'd really have to ask the other side of the aisle why they continue to drag themselves forward against the overwhelming opposition of the American people to jam this government takeover through the Congress.
And Congressman, I'm sure you get this question. I get it all the time from people who are opposed to the current health care legislation, who say, why not just repeal it when Republicans take back over the House and Senate, if they do that at some point in the next few years? Can you put the toothpaste back in the tube? Is that a possibility? Are you already strategizing about that?
Well, let me tell you, we're focused 100% on stopping this government takeover today on the floor of the Congress. And despite the posturing that's being done by Democrats and now conflicting statements that they have the votes, don't have the vote. Look, we know the American people have the votes. That's not the President's House. That's not the Speaker's House. That's the American people's House. And the American people oppose this legislation. You're going to see Republicans take to the floor today, take a stand with with a handful of Democrats, and I believe we can still stop this bill in its track and go to work on the kind of health care reform that'll lower the cost of health insurance without growing the size of government.
Congressman Mike Pence, we know it's a busy day. We'll stay tuned. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.